gentlemen, would you please again direct your attention to Pit Road or the big Jumbotron screens around the Speedway. Please welcome once again the President of Daytona International Speedway, Mr. John Graham.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the presentation of colors by the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University Army Color Guard. Our invocation by the Reverend Hal Marchman. Let us pray for this beautiful day and for the gathering of all of the race fans and the drivers. We give thanks, and we pray for your spirit to abide with us today and bless us all as we try to be your children under the wonderful circumstances of this race. Shalom and amen. To sing our national anthem, a 15-year-old sophomore at Flagler Palm Coast High School, representing Very Special Arts Volusia and the Easter Seal Society, with her constant companion Rika, Miss Jenna Fetchy.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night. Flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
One, two, 1, 2, 3, Jack.
Turn this down.
4 minutes.
Okay. Did you hear it come down?
Buddy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, checking on the hand mic. Is that good? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. 1, 2, 3. Hi.
Is that okay?
Hello, hello. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hello, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is Buddy Baker. Hello, Eric, man. How are you? Very nice to be seen. The evil Buddy, well, he was up here a while ago. He made a getaway.
Yeah, we left him at breakfast.
Very well, thank you. I said, thank you very much, and see you next race.
All right, need a dab in here.
Wayne, that's it. You're right. Thanks.
Oh, what happened here?
He used to call, he said, I don't want to talk to Wayne, I want to talk to Buddy. That's my bad side, Wayne.
That's like calling Daryl and getting DW.
Uh-huh. Did you hear what he told Drainus?
What's that?
Drainus forgot something in the truck, and he come running up the driveway, and Daryl said, stop, you're going to scare my kids. Okay, let's get serious now.
Why start now?
Boom, 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 boom,
Mr.
boom,
Bassman.
boom, 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 boom,
Still
boom.
on there? It looks like it needs to be a little bit tighter.
Yeah. A little tighter.
How's that better?
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen.
It's back to the beach for the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series. Randy LaJoie, defending 300 champions here, as is Mike Magic Shoes McLaughlin. Elton Sawyer hopes to clean up on the 2.5-mile dry oval, while Jeff Green, he'll be among those eyeing victory in this first race of the season. The series' young stars are here, like Casey Atwood. And the fourth generation of that most famous racing family, Adam Petty. Matt Kenseth hopes to leave his mark, as does two-time NASCAR truck champion Ron Hornaday. Winston Cup headliners Terry Labonte and Mike Skinner are among the 43 stars ready to take green. Rich in tradition, today's 300-mile race, prelude to the Daytona 500 tomorrow, reaches new heights in 2000, and the traditional blue skies greet the 43 Busch Grand National starters for this, their first race of the season, the NAPA Auto Parts 300. Let's go down to pit road right now with Speedway Illustrated Magazine's Dick Berggren.
Thanks, Ken. Hutch Strickland will start on the pole for today's race if his car will start. Yesterday in the last practice session, they couldn't get this thing fired up at all. Went through 2 ignition systems, missed the whole thing. Ron Hornaday starts on the outside of the front row. No problem with the car here today. We've got a champion driver from several divisions behind the wheel, but only his second start at Daytona. Ron, how will you run your race today?
Well, if I take this NAPA Auto Parts Chevrolet with his Ron Hutter motor and just stay where we're at all day, I think we'll be okay. We've just got to make our friends today, and if we got some friends behind us, we got a good chance to finish it good out of this one.
Good luck to you, Ronnie. Darrell Shaheen.
Randy LaJoie had planned on running the year 2000 variation of the Chevy Monte Carlo here today, but they had trouble getting the rear decklet and spoiler area to pass NASCAR's inspection, so they were forced to break out their backup car, this 1999 version. This is the very same car Randy drove to victory in this race last year. Randy, some would say the 99 is actually better than the 2000. What do you think?
I'll let you know in about 2 hours. I hope it is. It knows how to get to victory lane. Maybe we'll have a good day, a good safe day, and see you all at victory lane later.
Ken, Randy LaJoie, the two-time Busch champion, will start 9th today.
That's where we saw him a year ago in victory lane, as we await now the command to get this race underway. $1.4 million is at stake, and we're ready to go trackside for the most famous words in motorsport. Here on CBS to get our weekend going.
Now for the most famous words in motorsports, the Grand Marshal of the NAPA Auto Parts 300, Miami Dolphin great Larry Zonka.
Gentlemen, start your engine! Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we need pit road to be cleared. The grass area between the drivable and pit road also needs to be cleared at this time. All unauthorized personnel off pit road and off the grass between the drivable and pit road at this time. Thank you.
Well, welcome aboard, everyone. Larry Zonka certainly sounded fired up, and so is everyone else here for this NAPA Auto Parts 300. Ken Squire with you as we get ready to bring you live flag-to-flag coverage of this great event. This trophy here goes to the winner today. Last year, the season's winner was Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's moved on. He gave us a great show in this event, and this is usually an event where we see new young stars really strut their stuff, show what they're made of. I'll give you an example. A year ago, coming down for the checkers in the final laps of this event was a young guy just 18 years old named Casey Atwood. He got a real taste of Daytona right here, upside down, sliding toward the tri-oval, and then a nasty series of rolls. So Casey Atwood is now a veteran, but he's back. And Randy LaJoie, as you heard, he's ready to put that #1 right back in the top spot again today. Now, many of the legends of racing, those names you're so familiar with, are back. But there are new first names for this race today. There you see Bobby Hamilton Jr., 23 on the left in the blue uniform. That's Adam Petty in the middle. He's 19. Jason Jarrett at 24. All ready to give it a go here today. They'll be fun to watch. Just some of the stories we'll be following in this 300-mile event. Well, let's go topside right now with the guys who will call the race today. That's Ned Jarrett, Buddy Baker, and here's Mike Joy.
Thanks, Ken, and hello, everyone. There are a lot of established stars in this race. Bill Parsons is in it for the 13th time. But there are 12 drivers making their Daytona Busch Series debut in the field as well. So, Ned Jarrett, what kind of a race will we see today?
You know, that's about 30% of the drivers who are running their first NAPA Auto Parts 300, and that could create some excitement. I think that we'll see some very good racing here. Those drivers have been in practice and learned a little bit about the drafting, but some of the drivers complained about their cars jumping around in the corners because of the new shock and spring rules that were mandated for this race. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I think it'll be competitive.
Well, defending series champion Dale Earnhardt Jr. has moved on to Winston Cup, as has challenger Matt Kenseth. So, Buddy Baker, is this championship fight wide open?
Absolutely wide open. And, you know, when two great stars move up, there's always somebody that's a hopeful that moves into the race. So you can never say never to anyone that's in the field. They can go out there and win today because you get a good run down the back straightaway on the last lap, and you may win your first Daytona in your first race here.
Among those seeking the championship, Jeff Green, runner-up in this race last year and runner-up for the Busch Series championship to Earnhardt Jr. last year. And what of Hornaday, the two-time Truck Series champion? His Daytona debut last year, he misses the wreck and goes to the grass.
Yes, and when you get in the grass, you have absolutely no control. He hits Phil Parsons very hard in the grass there. End of the day for both cars.
All right, getting set for 300 miles. We'll be back with the start of the NAPA Auto Parts 300 on CBS after this.
CBS Sports presentation of the NAPA Auto Parts 300 is sponsored by NAPA. Why do you need genuine NAPA replacement parts? Because some things can't be replaced. Smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series. And by Ford, the latest innovations, the greatest tradition.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Steve Hanshew, president of NAPA. On behalf of more than 6,000 NAPA Auto Parts stores and nearly 10,000 NAPA Auto Care centers across the nation, we welcome you to today's CBS broadcast of the NAPA Auto Parts 300. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy the race.
The NAPA Auto Parts 300 is part of Speed Weeks 2000 at Daytona, presented by Fritos. It is a Chamber of Commerce day here in Daytona Beach in north central Florida. It's going to 84 degrees today, they say. The humidity, a lot of fog this morning. Now it's down to 69%. A light breeze, but warm on the racetrack, 130 inside those cars. Starting lineup for the NAPA 300 has Hut Strickland on his second career pole. Ron Hornaday, the former Truck Series champ. Terry Labonte, two-time Winston Cup champion, and Buckshot Jones. Row 3 is Jay Sauter from the Truck Series and Bobby Hamilton Jr. The 98 Winston West champ, Kevin Harvick, and Matt Kenseth, fourth in this race last year. The defending champion, Randy LaJoie, and Kenny Irwin Jr. Jason Leffler from the USAC midget ranks, and Jeff Purvis, runner-up here 2 years ago. Jeff Green, a close second in last year's race, and Elton Sawyer. Tim Fedewa, a three-time winner in this series, and Mike Dillon. 19-year-old Adam Petty, the fourth-generation driver, and USAC sprint car ace Dave Steele. From Indy Cars comes Scott Pruitt and Phil Parsons, the veteran of the field. Jack Sprague, two-time Truck Series champ, and Matt Hutter from Ohio. Michael Waltrip, twice a runner-up in this race, and Hermie Sadler. Third-generation Jarrett, that's Jason, and Joe Nemechek starting deep in the field, 26th. Mark Green and Kelly Denton in the 14th row. Mike Skinner, last year's Atlanta winner, and Hank Parker Jr. Mike McLaughlin and P.J. Jones. In row 17, Wayne Grubb and SCCA's Mike Borkowski. Kenny Wallace with Casey Atwood, 19 years old, youngest in the field. Todd Bodine and Jason Keller. Former series champ David Green, ASA champ Tony Raines. Dick Trickle made his Daytona debut 21 years ago. Bobby Hillen and Chad Chaffin complete the starting lineup.
There were a big field of cars entered for this NAPA 300. 15 drivers failed to qualify. That would be a good field of cars for any Saturday night race around the country. Some stars that had hoped to make the field here and run for the championship this year, but were disappointed, had to go home.
In today's race, the manufacturer's breakdown is 34 Chevrolets, 6 Pontiacs, and 3 Fords.
There are 43 cars starting this race. They'll go 120 laps for 300 miles. Fuel window, 50 to 60 laps, running for a purse of $1.4 million, their largest ever, and the race record was set back in 1978 by Darrell Waltrip.
Fritos Inside Racing takes us for a lap around Daytona with Buddy Baker.
Let's have some fun. Out of pit road, down the short chute, into the 31-degree turn number 1. You set yourself up coming out turn 2, 3,000 feet down the back straightaway, into turns 3. Right down on the bottom, you go back up into the middle part of the racetrack, off a little bump there, a little rise, 18 degrees through the tri-oval.
We'll have 8 CBS race cams in today's 300-mile race. NAPA camera on board with Ron Hornaday, starting outside pole. The Bob Evans cam riding with defending race champion Randy LaJoie from 9th starting spot. Right next to LaJoie in the 5th row, Kenny Irwin, the Bell South Mobility cam. Our Nesquik camera riding with Jeff Green from 13th position. And the Cellular One onboard camera with Joe Nemechek starting 26th. Our Lowe's camera with Mike Skinner going from the 29th position. And the Stork is circling Mike McLaughlin's pit, his Gould's Pumps cam, riding there at 31st position, and Jason Keller from 38th with the Excedrin cam on board. Let's meet the third member of our CBS pit crew. Here's Bill Stevens.
Mike, Joe Nemechek won this race in 1998, starting on the outside of row 1. He won the pole here Wednesday. They took it away from him because of a chassis infraction. He starts 26th. I talked to him this morning and asked him, how are you going to run the race, Joe? He said, I need to get to the front. 2 reasons. 1, to avoid trouble, which always seems to break out back in the pack. And secondly, his car runs better up front, out of the draft by itself. He's going to have to get by a couple of dozen other drivers before he can get to the front. So this race could get nastier than the one for the White House. Back to you.
Getting set to go green. In the drivers' meeting, Busch Series director stressed patience. I think he said it 5 times during his discourse to the drivers.
And that probably wasn't enough.
We're about to find out. Pontiac safety car gets to pit road. And here comes the field, 43 strong for 300 miles. We're underway. Good clean start, but Buddy, how long will it take him to build up to full speed?
Well, it'll take all the way down the back straightaway before they even get halfway wide open. The full lap will be required to get the cars up to full song. As they go down the back straightaway, though, believe me, you're running plenty fast and 3 wide down the back straightaway.
Terry Labonte showing why he's won 2 Winston Cup championships. Now he battles that blue Chevrolet of Ron Hornaday for the front spot. Will lead the first lap. Look at him, 4 wide in mid-pack as the leaders hit turn 4.
Hornaday has sort of broken away as they come off of turn 4. It looks like he will be the one that leads this first lap.
Hornaday, Labonte, and Buckshot Jones comes up for third.
Hornaday's being very smart right now. He's running in the middle of the 2 cars behind him, not giving either car the benefit of the draft. Now he moves out to the outside. Buckshot Jones should be able to really pick up time on Ron Hornaday leading the race.
You're looking back from Hornaday. That's Buckshot Jones, left side of your screen, edging Terry Labonte on the right.
They come off of that turn in a hurry.
That's Joe Nemechek in the silver car right there. He's trying to make it to the front right now. He said his car didn't feel very good back in the pack. It has to have clean air around it. As we ride with him down the front straightaway, probably at 190 miles an hour as he turns into turn 1, right on the bottom of the racetrack.
Now Nemechek has been backing up a little, started in 26 and is falling back to 30 as he tries to sort this car out and then begin to make those moves back toward the front. Mike?
Up at the front, Ron Hornaday battling Buckshot Jones. Terry Labonte is still right there. 3 cars now break out of that pack single file, and then they're still double wide all the way back. Bobby Hamilton Jr. up to that 3rd spot, one of the young guns we talked about in the white car there.
He's had a fast car since they unloaded here earlier in the week to start practice for this race. He was right up among the top runners at every practice session, had a good qualifying run. Bobby Hamilton Jr., very determined young man.
Matt Kenseth is up to 4th, Terry Labonte 5th, Randy LaJoie in 6th, Kenny Irwin 7th, Hut Strickland, Jeff Purvis, Jay Sauter the top 10.
Yeah, and Hut Strickland was looking for his car to be real fast today, but he did have some problems with it yesterday, and he's backslid quite a few positions now.
Todd Bodine had to take a provisional start. He's come from 37th to 21st in just 3 laps. Cars in that front pack have broken away from the second half of the field.
Yeah, and back in this pack is where all the action's going on. Can you imagine running 195 miles an hour 2 inches away from the guy in front of you? If he just backs off because another car does, it's really hard to check up, not get into the back of the car in front of you. It's like a freeway. The further back in the line you are, the closer you get into the wreck.
Oh, big difference, though. No brake lights on these cars.
Hand signals, and I'll tell you what, a lot of times it saves these drivers.
Let's ride with Jeff Green. He's in 12th place, pulling up alongside Cole Sitter for 61, Hut Strickland.
Ooh, Kevin Harvick just in front in the 2 car there. You can see the back of the car going back and forth there. These cars have been jumping around quite a bit. Even down the straightaway where you would expect your car to run absolutely straight, his car right there, you can see it really moving around quite a bit.
So Randy LaJoie decided right in front of Jeff Green, decided he wanted to get over in that outside lane. He tried the inside lane, didn't work too good for him, so he decided to try it on the outside.
Looking back from Randy LaJoie, that's Terry Labonte, 44 on the inside. And you can just see and almost feel that suspension at work.
So Terry Labonte wants to get over, and all of a sudden they really get into the fine draft, and that's where the air is passing over the front car and actually creates a vacuum that'll help the car behind them pull back up on them. So you see Terry Labonte trying to get up to Randy LaJoie.
On our CBS rundown, upper left of your screen, that green box indicates a driver who's moved up in the last lap. The red box, like Hank Parker Jr., a driver who's lost a spot.
And one driver already in the pits, unscheduled pit stop for Jack Sprague in car number 15. Apparently a flat tire on his car as we watch this action out on the racetrack. There's Sprague.
Mike, that's a disaster when you have to make a pit stop this early and lose the draft to these fast cars. But Matt Kenseth has come from way back in the field, and he's in second place right now. Like anybody that knows anything about Matt Kenseth, he does not like second place. He'll lead this race in just a second.
Dick Berggren.
Jack Sprague has already gone down one lap as he's sitting here on pit road. They're not sure what's wrong with it. It is probably not a flat tire. It's either the track bar that locates the car in relation to the rear end or some other mechanical piece back there. Ken?
Well, it's hard to consider Ron Hornaday up in front as a rookie, although he is the two-time track champion leading the way here in that Napa car in front. But the guy who's really been putting on a show for some time has been Leffler, the 24-year-old fighting with Kit Harvick. They're back there in 7th and 8th positions, respectively. Harvick has just moved around Leffler. And those two rookies going for Rookie of the Year are duking it out here in the early going, right up here in the front of the field.
Harvick, number 2, Leffler, 18. Harvick looked really pretty loose as he came through the trioval.
I don't know whether Jason Leffler hit the wall coming through that corner, but coming off 4, the 18 car got very, very close to the outside wall.
Leffler's car is black and green. And there's Harvick, number 2 in blue. Trying to move up with Mike Dillon.
Still working on Jack Sprague's car.
And he has now gone down 4 laps to the field. The inside row gets a bit of a move there as Jeff Purvis, number 4, pulls Kevin Harvick along. They're chasing 42, Kenny Irwin. From Kenny Irwin's car.
I've watched Kenny Irwin run here. He started in the Winston Cup race in the very back of the field and drove his car all the way up to 3rd spot in the 500 last year. He is really good. Here he comes.
Matt Kenseth on the bottom takes it away from Hornaday, and look at all the help he has.
Kenny Irwin follows him right through on the inside, but now Hornaday has someone coming up on his rear bumper that might be able to help him a little bit. We'll see how it shakes out as they go into turn 3.
Fastest car in the field, Kenny Irwin, started 10th up to 3rd.
Buddy, you're right. He learned a lot in that Daytona 500 last year coming from the back of the pack. Learned a lot about drafting, how to use the air. He's putting it to work here.
And these cars running side by side really have a hard time keeping up with a car that's smart enough to run in the center part there and keep the draft away from any particular car. You see him now 3 wide down into turn 1.
You're riding with 7th place Jeff Green.
Boy, that was close getting into turn 1 there. Kenny Irwin just happened to see him jerk the wheel just a little bit, or there would have been contact getting into turn 1.
And it cost him a position. Green's now on the inside of Irwin as he pulls down on Harvick.
These first 10 laps or so here, it looked like they were heeding the NASCAR officials' advice and said be patient, but I think they forgot already.
Matt Kenseth leads Ron Hornaday in the NAPA 300 at Daytona. We'll be right back.
Oh, baby.
Oh, you got to replay Purvis. My gosh.
Hey, now, you see what I did? I led. I said, here he comes.
Okay.
11. Jason there. He didn't hit anything.
He didn't get
though.
the worst of it, no.
I don't think he hit anything. He's rolling again.
Fish, can you look around there and get me numbers? Let's get some
roll.
numbers, please.
See,
I got 10 and 11.
probably got a flat tire.
There's more in the grass down towards turn 1. Caution is out at Daytona at lap 15 in the NAPA 300. Jeff Green, last year's runner-up. There he is climbing. He's already got his cap on.
Wow.
After flipping that car at 190 miles an hour, he's got a sponsor cap on and walking away. I guess he's all right.
Boy, that just tells you how well these cars are built, and the roll cage did its job because he turned over several times down the front straightaway.
Hat Rack made out okay, too.
Finished second in this race last year, second in the point standings. There's Kelly Denton's car, number 75. He was involved.
Kelly is okay, surveying the damage. Jason Jarrett was one of the cars involved. Also Phil Parsons, Wayne Grubb.
And Jason Jarrett drove away from the accident. He spun out. I don't think he hit anything hard.
It's the Pamico Chevy of Mike Skinner. And he says he can't turn the car. He tells the crew, so he's going to take it behind the wall. One more car there against the wall. View blocked by the safety truck. I believe that's the 83 of Wayne Grubb. And
yeah,
he's okay.
He's out checking the damage, see if he can fix it if they take him back into the garage area. But this is a very important finish. It's a points race. Even though you tear your car up, you try to get back in the action if you possibly can.
They're pushing Mike Skinner, the Lowe's onboard camera, in Skinner's car. Now, in the drivers' meeting, they told the drivers and teams, if you bring your car to the garage, you have one chance to fix it and take as long as you want. But when you bring that car back onto the speedway, if it's not able to run at competitive speed, the next trip to the garage is the last one for the day. You'd have to park it. So you see members of Skinner's crew going to work. Let's see what happened here. Coming through the tri-oval.
Jeff Green gets a little assistance there from behind, and you can see the car just lifting off the ground right there. It rolls several times here, but you notice the part that he's in does not really hit the racetrack. It rolled on the nose and then settled down on the racetrack. The flaps did their job. They have flaps in the roof of these cars to keep them from flying and just keep on flying. It dropped right down.
Tim Fidoa was one of those who went spinning. Pit stops. The order of the day for most of the teams. Bob Evans' team, that's Randy LaJoie's car, in the pits and at work, running around there with the Jack. Robert Larkins. Just about everybody has pitted. Finishing up on LaJoie. And there's 59, Phil Parsons. McLaughlin comes out. His wife Katie due to give birth any day, maybe any hour now.
Oh, you see Casey Atwood was backing up there, almost making contact with the car coming out of the pits.
Atwood gets away okay. We saw Fidoa in the pit. He was able to drive back in after a long slide through the grass. There's a little cosmetic damage on Phil Parsons and Jason Jarrett.
That was the 10 car of Jeff Green. And here we see Phil Parsons in the pits.
You know, Ned, that looked like a nasty wreck fixing to happen when the car went up in the air, but it come down just as quick as it went up. So that tells you the roof flaps really employed and put that car back on the racing surface.
Somebody got into the back of Jeff Green. I think I'd have to see one more replay to be positive about who that might have been. But you see there's damage here to several cars.
So here's Jeff Green, and see as they come up on him here.
Okay, they're just now coming in the dog leg. Right here, they make contact. You can see him getting sideways right there. Now watch the car just lift right off the ground about here and starts to fly. I can tell you those cars on the outside, they're going, let me get by, and everybody missed him as he slides across there.
Look at Fidoa just shoot right through all that traffic to the infield grass without getting hit. believe the car that made contact was Bobby Hamilton Jr., number 26. And it looked to me as if Hamilton was as low on the racetrack as he could be. There's his white car. He's right down against the white line.
He looked like Green might have come down a little bit as he went through the tri-oval.
Well, and at that place, the car is very, very light. And you can, if you could physically get your hand out the window, you could make a car slide by just touching it with your hand. That's how light they are in that area of the racetrack.
The luckiest fellow in Daytona right then was Tim Fedewa, because he locked the car down and cut it left and came all the way across without incident. Let's ride with Jeff Green.
Looked like he saw that opening down there on the inside groove and was going to go down there and try to pick up the draft, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. was right there.
From Joe Nemechek's car.
He said, boy, I was glad to get through that.
And that was Fedewa you saw shooting across the track in front. And Jeff Green once more.
He dives down to the inside, doesn't quite get in that low groove until he hits the other car. And like Buddy said, it doesn't take much at that point of the racetrack.
Boy, that's a nasty feeling when you see sky, dirt. Yeah. I'm telling you, I've been there. It's not a pleasant thought.
I'm afraid that's the last picture from our Nesquik cam today. We're under caution at Daytona. CBS Sports coverage of the Napa Auto Parts 300 continues. Your local station.
I had to say that.
Good job.
I mean, he didn't.
No.
Well, it took all of 17 laps to do that.
Yep.
Wow. I'm glad Jason didn't get.
Getting set for the restart here in the Napa 300 at Daytona after a big flip. Now, here comes the yellow car of Jeff Green. Around off the nose of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Chevy.
Boy, was he fortunate not to get T-boned when he came back on his wheels.
So
Great job of driving.
It was.
Those other drivers.
Yes, just to miss that. Here flying high above Daytona Net, providing aerial views of the Napa Auto Parts 300, the Bud 1 Airship, Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR.
And the green flag is out, and we're back racing again on lap 19.
Matt Kenseth in command, Ron Hornaday in second. That red car is Jeff Purvis. In green, Kenny Irwin. Then in red, Buckshot Jones. And in blue, number 2, Kid Harvick. Ken Squire calls it. He's calling a boxing match. This one's already been a boxing match of sorts.
Well, any race at Daytona is a boxing match. If anything else, it turns into a chess game because you really have to be careful. And there goes Michael Waltrip making it 3 wide in the 7 car down the back straightaway.
Got himself a good draft. Found some open air there and passed a couple of cars. Of course, Michael Waltrip is a veteran in this series as well as Winston Cup racing.
It's his 12th start in this race, Ned. Only Phil Parsons has more among the drivers in today's field. He's right smack in the middle of that 15-car front pack. Number 7, Walter.
Well, he loves this racetrack, and I've noticed in the past that he does not necessarily have to have the fastest car to go to the front. He likes to race here, and he makes good moves.
This fella right here is the big charge of the day, 66 Todd Bodine. He had to take a provisional to get in the field. He started 37th based on his car owner points from last year. He's in the top 10 in 18 laps.
That is quite a charge towards the front.
Boy, Buckshot Jones, a 00 car, was moving around quite a bit as he entered turn 3 there. I'm noticing the cars are getting a lot of side movement as they start through the corners here this time. Over maybe last year, they seem to be a little more stable.
And also look on this restart how quickly the field has strung out after that front pack. It's a long string of cars.
Yeah, and right now the front group they're sitting out there nose to tail. Those guys are having a war just behind them there. They need to sort it out and kind of ride just for a second. It's awfully early to make it 3 and 4 wide down the back straightaway.
There's 16 cars in the lead draft. Then there are 3 cars right behind them, hooked up together. And then, as Mike says, the rest of them are scattered out a little bit. But maybe they remembered that patience word a little bit. You know, maybe they were reminded of it during those caution cars.
I hope so. Matt Kenseth from Wisconsin is your race leader. 27 years old, driving for Robbie Reiser, Darren Cogswell and Pucci. And we'll see Frito's telemetry on board Joe Nemechek.
Okay, let's talk about the RPMs. I know you hear the drivers on all the racetracks, but Daytona and Talladega talk about turning 8,500, 9,000. Well, they have restrictor plates here, and it reduces the air and fuel that goes into the motor. So the maximum horsepower is right around 6,800.
Nemechek closing on that pack as they run 3 wide in front of him, and Hornaday goes back to the lead.
Pretty interesting there. That's Dale Earnhardt that owns the 3, and just behind him Richard Childress owns the number 2. So they may have a little game plan worked out.
They've certainly worked together in that maneuver. And Jeff Purvis in car number 4, who had really got sideways about 2 laps before that caution came out. He was about to cause a big wreck coming off of turn 4, but he got it back under control. Now he's up there in 3rd place.
Ned, you're exactly right. There's sometimes it's a wreck that they don't hit anything in, and that's what he had coming off of turn 4 up there. Completely sideways, and very lucky that nobody got him.
Still too wide much of the way through this pack. 43 Jay Sauter, another graduate of the Truck Series. Tim Fedua there in 26th place. That green box shows he's gained a spot in the last lap. David Green 33rd in the order. That box in red shows he's lost a spot last time by. Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, amazingly, the crew of the number 10 is hard at work at trying to get this car ready to go back into the race. Crew Chief Harold Hawley has taken a quick bird's eye view of the machine. He says the engine is okay. Of course, they got to replace some suspension pieces and make some body work adjustments to the car, but they think they can get back out and get some laps. And this team feels like they can contend for a championship, so every lap will be very important. Dick Berggren.
A combination of speed and pit strategy pretty much explains why these guys are at the front of the field right now. Not only did they have fast cars, but none of the leaders pitted on that last round. They only have 3 sets of tires. That's all they're allowed for this race, so all the leaders have saved them for later. To Ralph, to Bill.
Well, Matt Kenseth was in the lead, but has dropped back a little bit. As crew chief Gary Cogswell says, they still got to do some fine-tuning on that chassis. And it looks like next time he comes in, they may change the air pressures in the rear tires, raise the track bar, and take a little wedge out of that car. And they think he can race for the lead again.
Buddy, in English, what'd Bill just say? What are they going to change? Raise the track bar?
Well, they're trying to change the roll center of the car is what they're doing. And when you raise the track bar, of course, it pulls down on the weight on the back of the car and changes the roll center on it, making it do what you want it to do. Apparently, he's having chassis problems right now, and they need to adjust pretty quickly.
The car's not bad, but they think they can make it better. That light blue car is Kenseth in 4th place.
Well, 6 cars have broken away. They've singled themselves out and broken away from that 16-car pack that we mentioned just a few minutes ago.
You know, Ned, that was always a time that I felt pretty good when I got with a group of people that understood stand the draft, and you get out there and you know nose to tail is so much quicker than fighting 2 and 3 wide. And these guys, if that bunch keeps racing behind them, they'll just continue to walk away.
You're riding with Kenny Irwin, the Bell South Mobility Cam on board his Chevrolet, one of the quickest in the field. And that is Matt Kenseth just ahead. And look at him bounce through turn 1.
Yeah, you could really see, you could see a little spark there where maybe the exhaust pipe hit as they went through that hole down there. You could see the sparks fly out from under the car.
There's that breakaway. Ken Squire.
One of the most impressive runs in the early going in this Napa Auto Parts 300. Give it to Todd Bodine. He started 37. There you see it, the white and red, number 66. He's pulled himself up to 8th position. He stood here yesterday and watched his brother survive that horrible 13-time end-over-end, side-over-side crash. Spent a great deal of time with his brother throughout the night last night. Here he is out here, and he is really trucking. Number 66, Todd Bodine, is going to the front.
Mike Dillon just ahead of him. Kenny Irwin makes a move on the bottom, and that's at 4th place. Trying to take Buckshot Jones with him. So they battle up in the front of the pack in the Napa 300 at Daytona. 26 laps are complete. We'll be right back.
Well, yeah, but Buckshot was up there. Nuts, man. Huh?
Half turned over. Tonight's all new on CBS when America's Night of Heroes returns. The guy who gets tomorrow's news today is back on Early Edition. Then Sammo Hung and Chuck Norris, 2 martial arts masters, come together for the first time ever for a 2-hour martial law Walker spectacular. It's all new tonight on CBS. And next Saturday, CBS Sports is the home office of NCAA hoops with a big triple header. Among the featured matchups, Mateen Cleaves and the Spartans against the Indiana Hoosiers, and Eric Barkley leads St. John's against Coach K's Duke Blue Devils. Check your local listing. 30 laps complete here at Daytona. Tony Raines is on pit road.
This is his second stop, Mike, in the last 10 laps or so. He was last year's Rookie of the Year winner in the Busch Series of NASCAR, but having problems here today.
Ralph Shaheen.
Jeff Green has made his way out of the infield care center. Jeff, can you tell me what happened?
Yeah. First of all, I put myself in a situation I should not have been in, and I took a chance I should not. I just totally my fault. I come down. I thought I had a hole there to get down in front of the 26 car. He must have had a couple inches on me. He wasn't going to let off, which he's not in position to let off, I don't guess. But A lot of guys taking too many chances, and I guess I was one of them right there. Next Quick Chevy was awesome, but you got to finish on all four before you can ever finish. And hate it for my guys. They worked their tails off this weekend to get as fast as it was, and it was an awesome car. We were just biding our time to get up there, but nobody would ever give an inch to get in line and go. So it's a long race.
Bill Stevens.
Kevin Harvick having a great run in second place, but a problem with that car in the handling department, something we've heard a lot of this week. That car is pushing very badly. Says when he hits the corners and turns the steering wheel, feels like that right front tire is going to grind itself right off of the automobile.
Harvick, one of 12 drivers making his Daytona Busch Series debut today, and that's number 2.
He has an awfully strong car, though. He has absolutely no help and able to run on the inside there with 2 cars that are hooked up in the draft. So Harvick's got a great car, but if it's pushing, that means the front end's losing grip, and when he turns in to the corner, it loses a lot of time by scrubbing the front of the car.
And as a result of that, you see Ron Hornaday beginning to pull away a little bit as they race side by side back there. Now Harvick gets out in front of Jeff Purvis, and they'll try to line up single file, and that should help them, but no, that didn't last long, did it?
No,
he's coming up on the outside again.
Purvis number 4, Harvick number 2. Right behind them, Ken's at 17 in the 00, the red and yellow car of Buckshot Jones. Off turn 4.
Well, then it's just about the point in the race where the good cars start to come to the front. You see Joe Nemechek starting to move up in that silver and black car there, starting in the 26th spot. Now he's making his way up to the front. That's so many. He's running ninth, as a matter of fact, right now. So these guys that have good handling and good balanced cars will start moving up and really make it tough on these guys that are having any kind of handling problems.
They've run a little more than a half of a gas run. We said 50 to 60 laps. They've run 33 laps, working their 34th right now. So, yes, as that fuel load goes down and the tires get heated up, that's when the good handling cars come to the forefront.
How about Jay Sauter up with that lead pack, number 43, from out of the Craftsman Truck Series. His dad, Jim Sauter, longtime campaigner of the Midwest, and has made 7 Daytona 500 starts. Tim Sauter, his brother's a racer. A lot of racing Sauters from Watsita, Wisconsin. Here's the Excedrin cam from Jason Keller's car and our Fritos telemetry.
Very, very fast, too. 189 miles an hour. See the RPM, 1,600 there as he goes down. And you can see the back straightaway there. They have a huge stand that they put in a couple of years back. A lot of people here today watching this race. Big crowd.
And an unscheduled pit stop for another of the favorites here, Bobby Hamilton Jr. Coasted into the pits, or let's say coasted in. Dick, what's his problem?
Well, we're not too sure. Right now, they're going to put 4 tires on it. This is clearly an unscheduled pit stop, Ned. He had been in the lead draft, running well, was involved in that earlier incident with Jeff Green, in which Green tipped over, and Bobby Hamilton Jr., a definite contender, has just gone down a lap.
Oh, a little bump and run there. Right stuck in the middle was Sauter.
And Sauter's still in trouble. He fought it all the way through 3 slides there and got that car back straight. Now, sometimes you get lucky, and that's a little bit of luck. When you break one loose at 190 miles an hour, you're lucky if you get it back straight.
Skirmishing there with Kenny Irwin, 42, and 00, Buckshot Jones. This track is wide enough to run 4 cars, but at 190 miles an hour, there's just not a lot of room left. Six laps complete. That's the front pack. Hornaday number 3, Harvick number 2, Purvis number 4.
And a lot of good cars just behind them there. They actually are closing in again. They dropped back about 10 car lengths. The front 3, though, have not raced each other very hard at all. They've tried to keep that line where they're nose to tail.
Now Jake Sauter's car continues to run in 7th place. Let's have another look at what happened here as he got squeezed in the middle.
He is in the middle, and right there the back breaks loose. Now the car is very loose right there. He wasn't actually hit. He tried to get the car back straight, And now it took a little turn to the right there, and he got it back straight. He is very lucky.
If there was a bump, it was here going into the corner, maybe.
Mike, that outside car is just taking all the air and making a vacuum there that pulls the back of that car around. He was very lucky that that thing didn't spin out on him.
Sauter continues in 7th place. Now, is his car damaged?
No, it's not damaged. I would say right now, though, he says, I won't do that again.
Be careful which position he gets himself in. Bobby Hamilton Jr. comes back down pit road once again.
Yeah, right there, he should have said, I think I'll just check up and follow these guys and get in a draft there. Those 3 wide things, they're pretty for camera, but it's pretty aggravating when you're out there.
Pretty scary, too.
Dick Berggren.
Bobby Hamilton is on pit road again. This is a major problem. He has a broken right rear shock absorber or a broken right rear shock bracket. The tire had been rubbing on that shock absorber. That's why he came in to change it, but just changing the tire didn't get it done. They just told him to shut the engine off. He's going to be here for a while. He will not win the NAPA 300 today.
Field stringing out a bit behind the front 3. We've completed 38 laps here in the NAPA 300 at Daytona. We'll be right back.
This CBS Sports Race Summary is sponsored by Smooth Busch Beer. Easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series.
1/3 of the NAPA Auto Parts 300, 40 laps, 100 miles in the books. A couple of leaders, but behind there, the action intense. Lead's been swapped 3 times. Speed is down to 155 miles an hour. 1 caution. It was a big one for 4 laps. After Jeff Green switched lanes, got caught up with Bobby Hamilton, and at least, 4 cars were knocked out of that, as you can see right there. Let's rejoin Mike Joy.
Ken at the front, Ron Hornaday, Kevin Harvick, and Jeff Purvis have tried to break away from the rest of this field. There are 7 cars chasing them in a draft of their own, and then about a 14-car freight train. But there are the 3 leaders.
They pulled away by almost 2 seconds from the 4th place car, which is Kenny Irwin.
43 laps complete this time around, about a dozen laps before we'll see pit stops under green, perhaps, from the drivers who did not stop during that caution. There's Irwin's car in green, and you see the distance there from 3rd back to 4th. Doesn't look like much, but it's 1.6 seconds.
And the first 3 cars there, I think right now are handling a little bit better than this other group. It's going to be hard to run them down, but if anybody can, Kenny Irwin can there in that green nose car just behind the first 3.
And another to watch is Nemechek. He is in 8th place. Number 87, the silver car dipping low on the racetrack as they enter turn 3. Nemechek making a run. Remember, he started 26th after having to requalify on the second day. And he's got help there from Jay Sauter. I hope it's help.
That was a little more than help there. That got the 87 there. Joe Nemechek crossed up. He got it back straight in a hurry, but he got a little bump there as they started off the corner.
Back at the front, Hornaday running the lowest line on the track right against the yellow line, and thus is in no danger of losing the lead to Harvick, who's having to take a longer way around higher up the racetrack.
Yeah, and I noticed that Jeff Purvis in the 4 cars beginning to have a little higher line than 3 and 4 too. He tried to hold it down a second ago, but you see both cars going up the hill there. That means that they're not able to run down there with Hornaday, because if they could, they would.
There again, when those tires get heated up and the track gets a little bit slicker, they start moving up the track.
And we ride with Ron Hornaday.
Ron Hornaday Jr., I tell you what a driver this guy is. Look how still his hands are in the corner. He's just actually just kind of working that car very little bit of motion there as he starts out towards the back straightaway. That is a good car. A lot of racing knowledge in that particular car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won 2 years in a row in basically that same car.
Hornaday's father, a great champion of stock car racing on the West Coast, and his son, Ronnie, the third, now embarking on his own racing career.
Yeah, and he looks pretty good too. It won't be long before all 3 of them can say, I've been a pretty good driver.
Dick Berggren.
Johnny Allen, who is Jeff Purvis' crew chief, just came to Ron Hornaday's pit, and they have cut a deal for the number 4 car currently running in 3rd spot and the number 3 that's currently leading to pit together. They are anticipating a pit stop for fuel and tires somewhere around lap 57. You better believe Harvick in the middle of that sandwich. He'll be in with them too, Mike.
Boy, he's going to school, Dick. It's only his 2nd career Busch Series start. Hornaday is a master of the Truck Series, and Jeff Purvis has run a lot of laps here at Daytona, so he's getting some good schooling right here.
And what I'm thinking is what a good eye Richard Childress has, because I didn't see that he had the potential to do what he's doing out there right now when he was in the truck division, but Richard Childress has always been able to recruit good drivers.
4th place battle side by side. Buckshot Jones takes his Pontiac underneath Kenny Irwin.
It's a run as he comes to the start-finish line, and he has the position.
We'll see if that second pack is any quicker with Jones in front. Right now, they are 2.6 seconds behind the lead draft. 47 laps complete at Daytona, and pit stops coming up. CBS Sports coverage of the Napa Auto Parts 300 continues after this message and a word from your CBS station. Tonight on CBS, Sammo Hung and Chuck Norris, two martial arts masters, come together for the first time ever in a 2-hour martial law Walker spectacular. Tonight on CBS. 51 laps complete at Daytona. Kenny Irwin stopped on lap 48. Joe Nemechek lap 49. Lap 50, Adam Petty, Bobby Hamilton, and Mark Green make pit stops. Battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th on the speedway. Kenny Wallace, number 25, left side of your screen, has now moved up to the 4th spot. That's Terry Labonte, number 44. Buckshot Jones, the red car, and Randy LaJoie's in it as well.
Jay Salter in the 43 there, just behind the two you were just talking about. And these guys have been going at it like, and Randy LaJoie, the winner of the race last year here in the number 1 car.
Add to that Pat Casey Atwood, the 19-year-old. Number 27. And they're side by side for 2nd spot. Harvick and Purvis, number 4.
Ron Hornaday.
Oh, trouble.
One car spinning across the racetrack to pit road. Here comes another into the grass. Hillen is spinning. Borkowski spinning, and Kenny Irwin drives through the grass to miss them both. Caution is out.
Kenny Irwin has a lot of damage to the front of his car, and you can see a lot of damage there on Borkowski's car.
Boy, a good break for those who were about to pit and had not pitted. Bad break for those who just had pitted a few laps ago.
This is Kenny Irwin's front view of Bell South Mobility Cam, and you see the damage to the front of his car. This is Mike Borkowski's, number 20. And Irwin is going to climb out.
And they had just made pit stops, or Irwin had just made a pit stop.
And all that smoke you could see in Kenny Irwin's car, that was tire smoke where he'd been round and round down the front straightaway here and filled the inside of the race car up with smoke.
Kenny's okay. He's one of 8 drivers in this race that'll run in the 500 tomorrow. The rest of the field comes to the caution flag, and once the pits are open, should this bring everyone in, Ned?
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it, because many of them were scheduled for pit stops certainly within the next 10 laps. And you had a number of drivers. You mentioned Nemechek, Adam Petty, and Kenny Irwin. Of course, Kenny's out of it now. Dave Steele has made a pit stop. Tony Raines have been in and out the pits. And so it's a bad break for those who made the green flag pit stop.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at this. Well, Kenny Irwin there in the middle. Bobby Hillen on the outside there. He gets a little tap as they start out of the corner in the 8 car. See Borkowski there fighting to get control back into Kenny Irwin and into the outside wall as they spin towards the grass down the front straightaway.
Hard to see if Hillen came down or Borkowski came way up the racetrack. Might have been a little of both. Let's watch from Kenny Irwin's on board and see.
Oh,
yeah, I think the 20 car went up the racetrack.
Ow!
Kenny Irwin, who had just come out of the pits a lap before, was right in the middle of it.
And managed to avoid sliding back up onto the racetrack. From trackside. And again, watch the 20 car on the bottom.
That's arrow push as they start off. That's the same thing that happened in the Bud shootout the other day when the 40 car Sterling Marlin went up and made contact on the car and outside of him.
Mike Borkowski's from Middlebury, Connecticut. He's a graduate and former champion of SCCA Sports 2000. He and fellow Indy Lights driver Chris Simmons climbed the ladder together. And this year Borkowski's veered off and to go full-bodied stock car racing. This is Bobby Hillen's car being worked on pit road.
Ned, it looked like you're going to have to do a lot of work with that car to get the hood where it'll just stay on the car. You can see it's very flimsy back there where the fender's been peeled off.
And of course it'll kill his aerodynamic package, and he just can't be competitive. Pit road is still closed. A couple of cars came in, including Phil Parsons, when they came around the last time, but the leaders did not come in.
And we're under caution here at Daytona. The guy who gets tomorrow's news today is back with an all-new episode. Is someone after Gary's new girlfriend, or is she after Gary's money? Be surprised by an all-new early edition. That's tonight on CBS.
You know, Mike, one reason the cars didn't come in, when you have that much debris on the racetrack, you wait until the people go out there and clean up the racetrack, and then you come in and get the fresh tires. You don't want to put fresh tires on it, go back out there and run through all that metal that they're picking up right now.
Ralph Shaheen?
Mike, the 4 of Jeff Purvis is just running out of gas out on the racetrack right now, and they're hoping that they're going to open pit road this time by so that he can come down. And they have the fuel and the tires all set to go. He says he's planning on coming down one way or the other, whether the pit road's open or not, because he is going to be out of gas by the time he gets back around.
There's some workers out at the entrance of pit road, and that was one of the reasons they didn't open pit road the last time. Let's see if they will this time around.
And they do, Ned. There's the NASCAR official who stands behind the inside pit wall, protected there by that high concrete wall and a lot of steel cables. And the green flag that he now waves indicates not that the race is restarted, but that pit road is open.
And you could all see all the front cars there ran through that corner on the flat because they were getting low on fuel, and the pickup is on the right-hand side of that gas tank.
Jason Leffler may be out of gas. And here they all come to pit. Nick Berggren.
Ron Hornaday was ready to come in at any rate, but this caution flag could not have been timed more perfectly for him. His car is just a little bit loose. Tail end is hanging out, coming off the corners. They're going to put a half a round of wedge in it, make some adjustments with tire pressure, and he'll be out of here. To Ralph.
Mike Gittin and Dave Hansen go to work on the right side of Jeff Purvis's number 4 machine. They've changed those tires. Now they go to work on the left side. This car's been very tight. They want to make an air pressure adjustment to this car. Bill Stevens.
Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth are both in at the same time. Both crews making changes on the tire pressures. 4 tires on both cars. Fuel going in. It's Harvick who's away first. And there goes Matt Kenseth.
Kenseth will come out 5th or 6th of those that pitted under this caution flag. Now, Joe Nemechek had just pitted. He was one of the fastest cars. But Nemechek will either be a lap down or the tail end of the lead lap when we go back to racing because the cars overlapped him under green prior to this caution flag coming out. So 55 laps are complete in the NAPA 300 at Daytona. We'll be right back.
The NAPA Auto Parts 300 is sponsored by NAPA. Why do you need genuine NAPA replacement parts? Because some things can't be replaced. Excedrin Migraine for migraine pain relief. And by freeinternet.com. Get totally free internet access because the internet was meant to be free. CBS Sports presentation of the NAPA Auto Parts 300 is sponsored by NAPA. Why do you need genuine NAPA replacement parts? Because some things can't be replaced. Excedrin Migraine for migraine pain relief. And by freeinternet.com. Get totally free internet access because the internet was meant to be free.
Welcome back to Daytona, where we're under caution for the second time today at 56 laps. Jason Leffler has finally coasted onto pit road. The crew pushed him into his stall. They're going to fuel him up try to get him back out after 4 fresh tires and a tank of gasoline. Phil Parsons working there as well. Well, Ned Jarrett, have we seen the kind of patience that the NASCAR officials asked the drivers to exhibit today?
Basically, yes, Mike. We've seen a couple of incidents out there where patience did not take over where it should have, and as a result, we had caution flags. But with the cars bouncing around as much as we have seen some of them bouncing around this part of the race, I think that they've done pretty well.
22 gallons of gas, that's 150 pounds at the back of these cars. Buddy, did you see these cars handling a lot differently at the end of a long fuel run than at the beginning?
Yes, I did, and I noticed everybody in the field did something to their car to balance it, trying to get it better. And you can count on one thing: some cars that might not have been up to full song, they'll be better now because they did get to work on them.
For some of these teams, it's the first time they've had a chance to make adjustments on pit road, and you see the official indicating 1 lap to go, and we'll go back to green. Ralph?
A lot of the crew chiefs and crew members of the NASCAR Winston Cup division have been down here looking at the tires, getting ready for tomorrow. Greg Zipadelli, crew chief for Tony Stewart's entry in tomorrow's Daytona 500, taking a look at the tires off of Jeff Purvis's car. In talking to these gentlemen, they're all saying the tires look good on long distance runs and should be even better tomorrow because there'll be more rubber laid down on the racetrack.
Let's show you what happened here on pit road. There is the Jackman going out and around one of the cars.
That's Dick Trickle on the inside. Oops. And Chad Chapin in the car number 77 on the outside.
You can see the Jackman completely on top of Dick Trickle's hood as he was stopping there.
Trickle's Jackman is George Landers. Mark Martin's Jackman in the Bud Shootout last Sunday took a similar ride because Martin couldn't get stopped. It wasn't because of the traffic jam on pit road, but he is okay and likely will jack the car on Sunday. Frito's Inside Racing shows you a look at a pit stop. Here's the NASCAR official in silver as the team goes to work. Jackman to the right side of the car, and in 2 seconds that car is in the air and tires are being changed while 11 gallons of fuel is dumped in here at the rear. As the tire changers come around to the left side, the fuel man gets his second can of gas at the back of the car. 9 seconds have elapsed. Tire changing continues. Second can of fuel is in. Catch can man signals okay, and in less than 17 seconds, you're back on track. Now, Ron Hornaday came into the pits first. He is now running in 7th. Jeff Purvis came in second, went out second. Kevin Harvick third to third. Kenny Wallace held on to 4th. Terry Labonte lost a few spots on pit road as well. Dick Berggren.
George Landers is Dick Trickle's Jackman. You just took a wild ride with her. Are you okay?
Yeah, it was a little rough out there. 2 cars too tight coming in, and ended up on his hood, but I'll be okay.
He's going to jack the car next time out, Mike.
That's tough. That's playing tough.
I'm going to tell you, though, these guys are athletes and working the pits, and I've actually watched them jump with the jack in their hand, jump the whole front of a race car.
Whoa, look at Purvis in number 4, 3 abreast there, trying to fight his way back to the front.
Well, I see a little contact down the back straightaway. They're actually pushing Buckshot Jones down the back straightaway there with Hornaday. He was actually up under the car in front of him.
Here's Jones sweeping to the outside and looking for the lead.
This is one of the most dangerous parts of a race on a restart when everybody's bunched up together. They got new tires on their cars and they'll take chances that they wouldn't normally take.
Well, Ned, it's not just racing at full speed on that restart. It's a 2.5-mile drag strip with 4 left turns in it.
Now, Joe Nemechek, that's out front right now, would like to see a caution. He made a pit stop not long ago, so he's fighting his way to get back in the lead lap right now.
Oh, Mike McLaughlin down to the inside of the racetrack on the apron. Either the Gold's Pump Chevy's in trouble or Katie is about to give birth. The stork is still circling.
I bet the cars give up.
Yep, I'm afraid so.
Yeah.
Kenny Wallace, 25. Jeff Purvis, number 4, trying to put the move. Adam Petty, 45, just ahead.
Boy, you can see the cars dancing around in the corner there. They're not very stable. These guys are doing a great job of control.
And Adam Petty is one of those drivers that made a green flag pit stop, so he's being shown a lap down now.
Halfway in the NAPA 300 at Daytona. Tomorrow, the Great American Race, the Daytona 500 on CBS.
That's the kind of debris you want to see on the racetrack. Did you see when the cars went by, it took off? So it wasn't a piece of metal, it was something else.
5 cars have broken away from this battle. Matt Kenseth on the inside of Purvis. Kenseth in that blue 17. He's got some drafting help as he tries to go to the front.
Gonna try to foul back and get in on that outside lane. Their spotters work with them and tell them it's clear. Try to keep them informed of what's going on around them.
Report from the 48 car, broken fuel pump on Mike McLaughlin.
That's too bad. He was one of those 27 drivers that were 28 when he was out there on the lead lap. Nemechek is barely on the lead lap. He's at the tail end of it, but he's the last car on the lead lap.
Oh, trouble. 5 cars up in the wall at turn 1.
There's fire coming out of the car right up against the wall there.
77 is Chad Chaffin.
Hut Strickland in the 61.
And the car's still wrecking off, coming off of turn 2 on the backstretch.
A secondary collision in the back straightaway. Now there is Strickland has climbed out. He's okay. A lot of smoke still inside Chaffin's car. Hut's going to go to his aid.
And Joe Nemechek did get his lap back. He was in front of the leader when he came to the start-finish line.
Chad Chaffin is okay. And there is Adam Petty's car crashed hard in the back straightaway.
Wow, the nose completely flattened on that number 45 there. That's Hornaday.
Yes,
Ron. And the number 3 car.
And Casey Atwood. For the second time, Casey Atwood has come to Daytona, and his car has gone home in the dumpster.
And there's Elton Sawyer in car number 98, one of the 3 Fords in the field.
There's Adam Petty's car. See Petty moving around inside, a little woozy.
Took a hard hit.
Yeah, there was actually 2 wrecks there.
There were?
They went through the wreck, and then coming off turn 2, they had more problems over there.
Here's Hornaday coming to pit road. That car wounded. Now there is turn 1, the accident location, where 61 Hut Strickland and Chad Chaffin came together. That's midway in turn 1. A couple of the other cars there at the bottom of the screen along with some of the safety vehicles, but the other wreck took place coming out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway.
Don't know if it was an aftermath or maybe somebody was still out of control when they came off of turn 2 and finally caught up with them as they got started down the backstretch or whatever. Anyway, there was another wreck, and here's Hornaday in the pits. A lot of work to do on that car.
Adam Petty is climbing out.
Boy, that's good to see. There for a moment, he was really stunned. He was just barely moving around the car, but you see him starting to get a little more active now.
Look at the front end of that, buddy. He hit something hard.
Yeah, I tell you that anytime you see the nose of the car just completely shoved straight back, well, the engine and everything probably moved it in that car also.
Say hello to his great granddad Lee Petty, who's ailing back near home in Randleman, North Carolina.
Had some surgery about 10 days ago.
Hope he's okay.
Certainly wish him the best. Adam's still a little bit
yeah,
woozy
he's
as he
a
walks
little groggy there. I tell you, they take him over to the care center here, and it's a well-staffed infield here, a hospital that they take all the drivers. It's mandatory you go once you're in a wreck here in Daytona.
The turn 1 crash was Hut Strickland and Chad Chaffin. In the backstretch, Elton Sawyer, Adam Petty, this car, Ron Hornaday, and Casey Atwood. Well, let's try to figure out what happened here as we watch Joe Nemechek leave pit lane. Heading for turn 1.
See, the cars are all bunched up together going into the turn.
Okay, right there you can see the 77 car, Chad Chaffin, getting in trouble. He goes up and collects Hut Strickland in 61. fire breaks out as they slide along the wall, and you can see many other cars involved in the accident just behind there.
And some cars taking evasive action, getting down on the flat part of the racetrack and coming on around. Now, whether when they came off of that flat part, that caused the second wreck, don't know yet.
Well, Elton Sawyer got into those two. That's what damaged his car, and there was one other car that hit the two of them. There's the aftermath. And the initial contact appeared to be from Jack Sprague. That is Hornaday's car down at the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, they all stopped on the back straightaway. The real wreck was over going into turn 1 there. Wow.
Looks like fuel pump broken off one of those cars up in the left front location. Those are the flames you see. Most of that smoke is tire smoke. The best news, everybody climbed out. Okay. Let's show you what Ron Hornaday saw. Now that's Chad Chaffin, the red car to his right.
And he gets turned right in front of him.
There goes Casey Atwood, yeah, on the inside there.
And here's the second part of it. Off turn 2, Adam Petty hard in the wall.
You know, I saw a piece of a tire go up in the air there. It looked like he had a flat tire, and the actual part of the radial tire came off as he hit the wall there. So Adam Petty probably had a flat tire that triggered that.
From Randy LaJoie, watching Adam Petty in turn 2.
Yeah, you can see the tire itself came right off there. Adam Petty was in trouble. He actually went down on the flat there and then back up.
Could it have been that he maybe cut it from that other accident back there, came through that, and then it went flat as he came off that turn?
You're exactly right.
64 laps are complete. We're under the third caution of the day in the NAPA 300. Yeah, but I didn't want to break it. Welcome back to Daytona. We're still under caution. Todd Bodine has taken his number 66 to the garage area during this caution flag. Now let's see if we can figure out, did this car, number 15, touch the back of number 77, Chad Chaffin? Trigger this down in turn 1.
As they go into the turn, watch closely. It's very hard to tell. He's up awfully close there right now. Right there, it does look like to me, Mike, that he might have touched him.
I'll go a step further. I saw the contact. He turned a little bit to the right and then turned back to get it back straight, and the back came out, so he did get touched.
Now, buddy, if you get into the back of somebody like that on a track like Daytona, do you lift to get him squared away? Or if you do you get caught up from everybody else?
Well, what you do, you try to give him enough time to recover, and you certainly wouldn't go back into him again, because if you do, you'll spin him out and probably cause a bigger wreck than they had.
Let's show you again what Ron Hornaday saw. That's Chaffin on the outside, 77.
Oh, that was, from that angle, it looked like nobody was there, but
I think he'd already been hit before we saw him make that spin.
Ralph?
Mike, the crew is working on Ron Hornaday's car. He has crawled out. Ron, can you tell me what happened out there?
I can tell you, but I don't really know what happened. All I know is the 77 turned sideways, and there ain't no way, unless he blow a motor or something, you can get turned sideways, and he just came across in front of me. But that's a shame. Ron Hutter built us a great motor here, and the NAPA Chevrolet was running awesome. Jerry Kidd and the guys that, the longer the thing ran, the faster the car got. A little bit of an air push off the corner, so it's a shame. I mean, I hate to start the season this way, but we'll have to come back and run hard.
Dick Bergen?
Elton Sawyer had the fastest Ford in the field, but this thing is so wrecked, 2 mechanics had to jump on the hood and beat it down so he could find his way to the garage. What did it look like to you out there?
I know we went off in the 1 there, and was behind the 51 car, I believe, at the time. We're on the outside, and 77 car, I don't know if somebody got into him and lost a tire or whatever, but he turned sideways, and we went high to try to miss him, but you know, he didn't have anywhere to go, and he came back up the racetrack, and it's really tore the front end of the Lysol car up pretty bad, but that's just the way it goes. We'll just try to get it fixed and get back out there for as many points as we can, and look forward to Rockingham.
Todd Bodine is also here in the garage. They are changing a radiator. Debris went through it. Mike?
Jason Jarrett in the pits for an extended stop. Couple more cars behind the wall, and there goes Adam Petty. The NAPA Auto Parts 300 on CBS continues after this message and a word from your local CBS station. It's hard to say if Sprague hit him, but Sprague's a little like Jimmy Spencer.
Yes, they do. Back straightaway's pretty well full. Give me.
Sunday on CBS, Charlie had the mind of a child until a miracle gave him a chance to be like everyone else. But how long will it last? Matthew Modine and Kelly Williams in Flowers for Algernon, a CBS Showcase presentation, Sunday on CBS. Shift into gear with in-depth NASCAR coverage, including driver profiles presented by Fritos. Just click on racing at cbs.sportsline.com, or on AOL, it's keyword CBS Sportsline. And later today, CBS Sports brings you live third round coverage of the Nissan Open from the Riviera Country Club in Pacific Palisades. Bob Tway and Greg Chalmers at 9 under share the lead. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
One of the great things for Ron Hornaday is he's one of the drivers in Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. That means you get a lot of extra brain power. Look at Steve Neal here working the torch. Just behind him is Dave Charpentier from Steve Park's crew. He's over here. He's a former Winston Cup crew chief. And at the front of the car, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew chief and car chief, Tony Eury Sr. and Tony Eury Jr. A lot of brain power working on this car right now. Bill Stevens.
Ralph, Todd Berry is the crew chief for Kevin Harvick, having a great run today in second place. You made some tire adjustments. The last pit stop, air pressure. Is the car any better now?
Yeah, well, we hadn't run long enough here to tell. It's longer in the runs, you know, things seem to get a little tight, but Kevin's doing a great job in this AC Delco Monte Carlo, and we just keep riding here under caution a couple of laps. We're going to make this thing on one stop.
Have you talked to him about the strategy here? Will he just sit tight for a while or make a run, or what have you guys been talking about?
No, we told him if he wanted to lead a lap, he could, but ideally we really don't want to lead a lot of them right here because it's kind of marginal on the gas thing, but I think we'll be fine.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out later.
It's only Harvick's second career Busch Series start. He ran Rockingham last October, but was out of the race very early. Bakersfield, California driver, 24 years old and with a great career opportunity here. Getting set for the restart, Buckshot Jones out front. Harvick, Purvis, Dillon, and Scott Pruitt up to fifth.
Flagman tell him to hold it, hold it, hold it, and here goes the green. You see it, just a shadow of it, and here we accelerate.
Two rookies in the top 5 as we go back to green.
There are 20 cars on the lead lap. Bill Parsons is the last car on the lead lap. A late pit stop, perhaps trying to make it to the end on fuel.
Cars on the lead lap started in the outside lane, lapped cars on the inside lane, so there'll be some shuffling here.
Yeah, it was scary. I thought they were going to stay single file for at least one straightaway, but that didn't happen. They're back double file just behind the first 3 cars as they come off turn 4.
Jeff Purvis back up there to the 3rd spot. Dick Berggren.
Chad Chapin, you were right in the middle of that big action. What happened?
Well, I think we were actually at the beginning of it. We were coming down the short chute going into turn 1, and something just gave loose on the car. I believe we cut down a left rear tire. I know me and the 5 car had made contact in the pits, and maybe he had knocked a piece of sheet metal in on the car or something. I either cut a tire down. It kind of felt like I got bumped from behind, but I don't really think I did. I think something cut down on the left rear and the car just turned around.
Everybody in the care center okay?
Yeah. Adam was bruised up a little bit, but he's fine, and Casey and Hutt, they're doing all right, so no injuries there.
Hey, good luck next time.
See, drivers don't have the instant replay that we have. He did get touched, but it might have been after the tire was starting to go down or something.
One of the lead cars, lead pack cars, Tim Fedor, came in for a change of tires. Apparently he had a tire go down. He's going to go a lap down. Now there'll be 19 cars on the lead lap.
And Mike McLaughlin's back on track after replacing the fuel pump. 3 cars have broken away. Buckshot Jones, Kevin Harvick, and Jeff Purvis. And from 4th on back, it's 2 wide. Heavy traffic.
Yeah, that's right now the only reason they're not running 3 wide is there's not room to get up there. They're kind of squeezing out right now. The cars are really on fresh tires, and they're going pretty hard right now.
One of the most impressive runs here today has been that of Scott Pruitt. He started 19th. He fell back to 27th. Now he's in the top 5, and this is his first appearance on a super speedway as he gets ready for tomorrow's Daytona 500. Keep your eye on Scott Pruitt, number 97.
Pruitt started his career in go-karts, and it's except for a stint in Trans Am and International Motorsports Association GT cars. He's been an open wheeler most all his life, so drafting a little new to him.
How do you spell go to school? He's fixing to go to school because there's a lot of guys that know how to draft, and he's going to catch himself right now. You can see he's getting on the outside of the racetrack, and he'll be in three wide traffic here before too long. We'll see how he handles himself.
Here's for telemetry on board Jason Keller.
And you can see the miles per hour about 189 as the RPMs fluctuate a little bit there around 6,400, and then he had to back off a little bit.
Yeah, and you can see the car in front of him just kind of do that little twitch coming off turn 4. That's a very, I see a little bit of smoke off the right front corner of that blue car on the left there. See it?
Yes. Does appear to be some smoke. Maybe tire smoke. Looked like the fender was rubbing the tire a little bit.
That's Dave Steele, 82 on the left corner of your screen. Now he's got David Green, the 94 champion of the series, up alongside.
All I could see was blue. I couldn't read the number, but I did see smoke, I can tell you. And when you're back in that pack and you look up there and see a guy rubbing that right front like that, it kind of gets your attention.
I believe that he's gotten somebody's attention. Maybe he's going to try to come in, but he had made a green flag pit stop way back early before the big wreck and had gotten a lap down, but no, it looked like he's staying out there and he's right in the middle.
Yep, they're going to freight train past him. May feel that now. Is there enough shoulder on that tire that a little tire rub like that, you'd be okay?
Well, you always hope so, but that was pretty substantial. And right now, you can really see it as he hits the bumps in the corners there. It's just firing the smoke up out of the wheel well there. Well, I wouldn't say he's going to be able to just rub that tire like that.
But the best thing right now is Terry Labonte right behind him is telling his spotter, tell that guy's spotter he's got a tire rub.
Yes, they need to get him in the pits, really, because he's endangering himself as well as other drivers out there.
Body goes downstairs. He wants no further part of this.
Well, Mike, as we said that, it looks to me like right along there it's not smoking like it was. So maybe it just wore the shoulder of that tire off a little bit. But I'll have to wait and see as he goes in the corner.
They have posted him. They are giving him the black flag. NASCAR has, when we say posted, they have a neon sign as they come to the start-finish line that his number was flashed up on it, which means that he does have to come into the pits.
Black flag means something is wrong. Go to your pits. Get it fixed.
And that was pretty smart and a veteran move there. He got right up against the wall in case the tire did go away on him. He didn't have to run up the racetrack and hit the wall.
Hey, Pontiac's running first and third. There's a big fleet of Chevrolets, including that second place car. The last time a Pontiac won this race, 1986, Dale Earnhardt. Buckshot Jones leads them around to complete the 76th lap here at Daytona.
Boy, oh boy. Kevin Harvick, he just keeps on making me, you could see the hand signals there from the third place car saying everything's going good. I think they're going to try to mount a charge there on the outside.
Now Jeff Purvis, number 4, is between the two Richard Childress-owned cars. Kevin Harvick, number 2, and here is Steele on pit road, and you can see the damage along the right side of that car.
Yes, he has scraped the wall, or scraped another car. It looks like the wall.
For second place, Purvis goes for it. Gets it.
You can see Purvis was really on the charge there. He tried the outside, couldn't get it done, went to the bottom and passed right along.
Steele gets his service and gets back out. He'll go another lap down, but that's pretty impressive, buddy. He made that move by himself. He didn't have a whole lot of help when Purvis made that move.
Now that will put the Richard Childress-owned cars nose to tail. Harvick in the 2 and Mike Dillon 21. 77 laps complete at Daytona. Dave Steele avoids a big one. We'll be right back.
Thank you. You remember that
This CBS Sports Race Summary is sponsored by Ford. The latest innovations, the greatest traditions.
After 77 laps, 192.5 miles, we've had just 3 leaders, but lots of action. The average speed of 134 miles per hour. It has unwound here today with 3 cautions for 16 laps. And look at the attrition on this race. Remember at the outset we talked about some of those legendary names with new first names. Well, Bobby Hamilton there, you see him knocked out. Kyle Petty has crashed out of the event. Adam Petty has crashed out of the event. And Jarrett is still very much in this. Jason Jarrett running in 18th, some 6 seconds back from the leader. Let's rejoin Mike Joy.
Ken, 4 cars have broken away from the field. You'll see 5 cars up in the front photo because they are joined by Matt Hutter a lap down. There's a look at Dick Trickle and the 11 car of Jason Jarrett. That's a familiar number, and there it is, 1965, Ned.
Yep, that was 1960. I was young one time.
Right out of GQ too. Look at this, huh?
Well, it's good to see a Jarrett back in number 11 again.
Was that right metallic blue, that car?
Yes, it was.
Bondy Long owned it.
Yep.
And he drove it.
Folks did well.
That was a good race car that year. That was a favorite car. We managed to win the championship, of course. That would help to make it a favorite.
Well, the cars look a lot different today. And here they come. 4 of them on the lead lap, plus Matt Hutter is the 5th car in line. He is 1 lap down. Kenny Wallace behind them battles Matt Kenseth side by side for 6th place. But up front, Roy Buckshot Jones leads this field around. 29 years old from Norcross, Georgia. His dad owns the car, Sandy Jones. Good relation. Crew chief.
Billy Jones is the owner.
Yes, his dad, Buckshot's dad.
And
right.
Sandy, right, his crew chief. Right, no relations.
Ralph?
Mike, deals are being made now between Buckshot Jones and Jeff Purvis. They want to hook up and run together. Johnny Allen, crew chief for Jeff Purvis, said, yeah, we don't have a problem doing that, but hey, we want to lead. Buckshot's crew said, yeah, we could do that. We'll see if they actually live up to it. Purvis is taking a look to make a run. And by the way, it is his 41st birthday today. This could be an early present.
Here he comes, Purvis to the lead.
Purvis, Harvick, and just behind them, Dillon. And also, Dillon has a little interest in the Harvick car. He is the son-in-law of Richard Childress, so they may, team up and really go to the front.
I think that would be a natural that they would plan to do that, and there he is, following right along. Matt Dillon had really perhaps the best race of his career, especially on a super speedway.
Now, Buckshot Jones there just got clotheslined. They just ran him right to the back of the lead draft, buddy. How'd they do it?
Well, he just went up high, and the rest of them just clotheslined him. They all got on the inside and just motored right on by him. And we see it time and time again. A group of cars can just overhaul a guy. If he gets out of the draft, they just go right on by him.
We call it clotheslining because Buckshot, once he got up outside the draft, just got hung out to dry.
You got it.
Top left of your screen, Jason Keller you see, and Scott Pruitt, 15th place in red there. That means he lost the space in the last lap, lost the position. The driver displayed in green on his position bar there had gained a position in the last lap. As you look at that rundown.
There's Terry Labonte in the 44 there, and Michael Waltrip also making a charge towards the front, and Randy LaJoie, who was in the pits for quite a while, but just behind them in the 25 car there, Kenny Wallace. He stopped, made a fuel stop just before they got the green flag. He may be the guy that can go the distance and win this thing.
Well, Joy stated, you said he was in the pits a while. I think they were just packing every ounce of gasoline they could in his car, so he might try it also.
Right behind Michael Waltrip, riding with Joe Nemechek, the Cellular One cam. Kenny Wallace to the inside. This is 8th and 9th place. Ranchette.com telemetry.
And 192 miles an hour at far end of the straightaway as they head into the corner. Drops all the way down to 185 in the center part of the corner. And you can see the RPMs going down to 6,400. Now he's on the straightaway. He'll start to gain again.
Well, in pole qualifying, this was the fastest car. But when NASCAR checked it in post-qualifying inspection, they're only allowed to have a certain percentage of weight on each side of the car. And Nemechek did not meet that rule, so he had to requalify second day and come out of the back of the field from 26th to 8th.
And he's got an awfully good car. I just noticed he moved to the high side of the racetrack and was actually passing cars on the outside by himself.
Well, we've seen a few cars break away there a little while ago, but now others have moved in on them.
You know, when you're leading here, it's like you have a huge magnet on the back of your car. It seems like everybody wants to get there and race you. And Kevin Harvick right now is showing great maturity for lack of experience here, but Joe Nemechek in the silver car back there looks to be very, very strong.
Nemechek just moved past Randy LaJoie to take over 7th. Dick Berggren.
Well, Sandy Jones is Buckshot Jones' crew chief. We're getting on down to this thing, bud. What can you do about winning the race?
I don't really know. Them 4 guys ahead of us pretty fast. Right now, we're just trying to ride around, try to save a little bit of fuel. The cheese is running just a little bit tight, so we're going to have to make a little another adjustment if we get another caution.
How far can you go on this load of fuel?
We got 3 calculators right now trying to figure that out.
Okay, good luck, Sandy.
The 4 cars in trouble. Purvis backing up, and Kevin Harvick's taking the bridle off. He's put number 2 out in front, and here is Purvis coming down to the bottom of the racetrack. Ralph.
Mike, there could be a problem with the number 4. They just radioed in. The car is getting very warm. It's up to 270 already. They're getting water ready down here so that if he has to dive down pit road, they will be ready to pour some cold water into that radiator. Johnny Allen, the crew chief, says, get ready, guys. He is coming down pit road.
Tough break for Purvis.
Wow, I tell you, when you start getting nose to tail like that, you notice the front of the car has quite a bit of tape on it. I noticed a second ago. That's the first thing they'll take off. They're raising the hood now. That's not a good sign.
Ralph?
The engine hood goes up. They're looking inside, trying to figure out where the problem is. Taking a look around. Nothing seen just yet. They will fill the car up with fuel, and now they will check the water, checking the radiator. Looks like they're going to try to pump some cold water in and try to cool this car down. They hook it up, and they will start chugging water into this engine as quickly as it can.
They'll go
Pouring out the hot water and putting in the cold water is what they're doing.
Ralphie goes a lap down as they complete those repairs. And Jeff Purvis will not be a contender to win the NAPA 300. Kevin Harvick is out in front, and his teammate Mike Dillon has moved to 2nd. Let's make it. It's not Monday, it's Mondave on CBS. Don't miss TV's 4 best comedies as you get ready to welcome David Letterman back to The Late Show. 4 all-new episodes, CBS Mondave. Sky-high views of today's Napa Auto Parts 300, courtesy of the Bud 1 Airship and Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. 92 laps complete. Kevin Harvick holds sway at the front of this field. But now it's Buckshot Jones on his tail and Terry Labonte, the 2-time Winston Cup champion.
And he's just been sort of quiet in this race, as we've seen so many years in all kinds of competition. He just sits there and lets them wear themselves out and sizes them up and makes his strike near the end of the race. He's positioned himself well. We're talking about Terry Labonte, perhaps the most experienced at drafting of anybody in this field.
And right behind him, 3 more Winston Cup drivers: Joe Nemechek, Kenny Wallace, Michael Waltrip.
Every one of them really good on this racetrack. So this thing is far from over. I would be tightening my seatbelts up about right now, realizing you're going to have to do something pretty special to win this race.
One thing you may have to do is stop for fuel. The timing that last caution flag may not allow all of these cars to go the distance, maybe none of them.
I think it'll be very close for even those who prepared themselves. Buddy mentioned that Kenny Wallace had come in and Randy LaJoie came in late on that last caution flag, topped their fuel tank off. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody can.
Ralph?
Jeff Purvisson had such a great race going. Jeff, did you have any indication of the motor problem developing?
Well, right before we had started having trouble, I told Johnny and them, I said, I got to get in the lead because the temperature gauge had jumped up, and I thought it was just because I was drafting behind some different cars that made us have a little bit more water temperature, but that wasn't the case. You know, boy, I hated for Porter Cable. His first race in Busch for him, and I really felt like we had a good chance of winning this race. We had a great car yesterday, and it's one of those things that knocked us out.
Bill Stevens.
Joe Nemechek started 26th after a green flag pit stop earlier in the race. He fell to 28th. He's now 4th. Crew chief Brian Patty, first of all, Joe have enough gas to go the rest of the way?
Oh, no problem. Wagner Automotive built a great engine. It's got great miles a gallon.
Does he have enough car to get to the front?
That could be a problem.
Nothing like an honest man here at the racetrack. To Dick Bergeron.
Well, you were talking about fuel mileage a moment ago, Mike. I am in Kevin Harvick's pit where crew chief Todd Berrier tells me they can make it all the way on fuel. No problem. You're also talking about Terry Labonte, and that's a wonderful story because his son, Justin, did all the testing in that car. Terry Labonte drove it just 1 lap prior to this race today. Ken Squire.
And what a story we have developing for the finish of this 300-miler. The kid from the streets of Bakersfield, California, Kevin Harvick, leading, a rookie in this race. But here come the big guns. Labonte in 3rd, Nemechek 4th, Kenny Wallace 5th, Waltrip back there in 6th. They're beginning to rumble. They're moving toward that leader. Can Harvick hold on as a rookie and win the 300? We're going to know shortly. Here's Mike Joy.
Well, Terry Labonte, they call the Iceman, and he's been on ice here, biding his time. This is his 6th start in the 300 on Saturday, but he started over 80 races at Daytona, including 21 Daytona 500s and 21 Pepsi 400s. All of the experience in this field, no one has as much as Terry Labonte as getting to the front and winning.
I'm looking back, even Jay Sauter back there. He's in that front group right now in the 43 car. No experience here to speak of, but he is doing one whale of a job. There's a lot of guys out there right now that are way beyond their years as far as experience right now, because every lap they make, that makes them a little more of a veteran here at Daytona.
Coming up later this afternoon on CBS Sports, we'll have coverage of Thursday's 125-mile qualifying races, the Gatorade 125s that set the field for tomorrow's Daytona 500. And you'll see those sprint races next year on CBS. Buddy Buckshot Jones has not made a move on Kevin Harvick. Why is he holding station in 2nd place?
I think right now he's having the same thing that we've seen so many times this week. I think he has a little arrow push in the center part of the corner. I noticed the car got off the bottom of the racetrack and moved up to the center part of the racetrack. Terry Labonte went with him. That helped him a little bit to regain some speed down the straightaway.
Ned, those front 3 cars could not get away. Here comes the pack.
Yeah, the pack has caught up to him. And one guy that's, look at Matt Kenseth, car number 17. He's found a high groove up there by himself, but he's been passing some cars. Now, Randy LaJoie goes back around him after he had got up beside of him going into the turn, but he has passed several cars up there on that high side.
That's Mike Dillon on the inside of the racetrack battling Kenseth. They're going to drop in line behind him.
Yeah, but he's having handling problems also. Mike Dillon is. Hadn't been long ago that he was in second place in this race.
99 laps this time by Kid Harvick leads them here at Daytona.
Brought to you by
Was it soldered on? I think. We're under caution at Daytona. Michael Waltrip has just taken a stinging sidewinder flyer from the tri-oval down toward turn one. One car got in the back of him and he went for a ride, and he's climbing out okay.
Under his own power. They're not having to help him out. That's a good sight.
I think that roof has been mashed down a little bit and closed the window area. Michael is a big guy anyway and needs all the room he has. Throws his hand up, waves to the crowd. That was a wild ride.
So Waltrip will get into the ambulance for that mandatory trip to the care center, which has had a busy day. And there is no sheet metal left of the top of that windshield and leading edge of the roof on Michael Waltrip's car. You can see where the windshield was and where it's all pushed down. Look at here. Ripped right through it. Is that abraded 1,000 feet down the asphalt?
And you notice the windshield is made out of a substance that does not break anymore. So a long time ago that would have went up in the grandstand. So they're going along with safety all the time.
Michael was running in 6th position when this happened. He came by the start-finish line. Let's take a look at what did happen.
He's going to get a tap here, Ned, as he comes off the tri-oval down on the inside of the racetrack.
Right there, he gets touched right there. Now this car goes way up in the air. When it turns around, you see it start to fly there. Turns completely up and pancakes right down on the roof.
That's what did all that roof damage you were talking about. Then it goes into a barrel roll.
Side over side, many, many times. Now it's on the nose of the car and then hits hard on the back.
That looked much like Ricky Rudd's flip here in 1984 in what was then the Busch Clash. Here's another look. Jay Sauter has a little push coming out of the tri-oval and just gets into Waltrip.
And they were just coming out of the tri-oval, and at that point of the racetrack, you're almost out of control anyway, buddy, and just a little tap sent him around.
Absolutely. And the other thing, the roof flaps couldn't work because it went around so quickly, and the minute the back addressed the air, it went straight up in the air.
Buddy, the pits are open. Dick Berggren.
Kevin Harvick is in. He is going to take 2 tires. The 00, Buckshot Jones has beaten him out. Childress wanted to take 4 tires on that number 2 car. The pit crew overruled him. They took 2 because they wanted the car to be a little looser.
Buddy, you've owned a race team. What happens when you overrule the man who signs the checks?
That's not a good thing. You will hear about that when you go home, I'll tell you that.
Wow, Michael Waltrip's number 7. Not much left.
Well, here he is.
That's Jay Sauter right there. They make contact. Jay Sauter turns to the outside, gets away from Waltrip. Right here, you can see the back come off the ground.
And then it digs in and starts that barrel roll. Normally you see that when it gets on the grass, but it started before it got off the pavement.
The good part of that wreck, they can make another car, but Michael Waltrip's okay. He walked to the ambulance.
That's here. Jay Sauter, he's trying to hold control of that car, but it slips up the racetrack with a little bit of push. And as Waltrip goes over, when he comes down right on his roof.
Right on the roof, yes.
And then it just keeps carrying momentum. It starts to go.
You know, I raced for 35 years, and I never did that.
Good thing.
Never did that. Thank goodness.
Here's another look. You see the back end just lifts up off the ground. You see it's going to come right down on that, about the top of the windshield.
Any way you look at that, that was hard contact. That just tells you the cars are very, very strong.
You know, in recent years, NASCAR has mandated added bars to the roll cage, including one down the center of the windshield and one which would be where your vent window would be if cars still had those. And I think that bar, that vertical bar, helped prevent the windshield, the top of the windshield of Michael Waltrip's car from collapsing down on him, and certainly saved him from serious injury.
You're right, and that bar runs right down in that area of the windshield, and they call it the Earnhardt bar.
From Randy LaJoie. There's what's left of Michael Waltrip's car. We'll be back to Daytona after this.
Well, when you draw something, it just changed. take that car.
Welcome back to the NAPA Auto Parts 300, part of Speed Weeks 2000 at Daytona, presented by Fritos. Michael Waltrip's car is a wreck. He is okay. Now, here's that bar I was talking about right down from the windshield. Of course, there's support bars and structure all around here. Now there's one in the middle of the windshield. That bar at the vent window saved him. That's not the worst car Michael Waltrip's ever wrecked. If you want to see the car nobody can believe he climbed out of, go to the International Motorsports Hall of Fame at Talladega and see the one he wrecked at Bristol, Tennessee.
Wow.
Tonight on CBS, Sammo Hung and Chuck Norris, two martial arts masters, come together for the first time ever in a 2-hour martial law Walker spectacular. Tonight on CBS. And Sunday on 60 Minutes, if he's not your typical matinee idol, what is he? Find out when Oscar nominee Kevin Spacey gets the once-over from Leslie Stahl, Sunday on 60 Minutes. Getting set for the restart, Ralph.
Kevin Caldwell is a crew chief for Terry Labonte. Well, you stayed out on the racetrack, Kevin. Can you get all the way to the finish and win this thing?
Well, we're going to do our best. You know, Slim Jim Chevrolet's been pretty good most of the day. We kind of struggled a little bit here in the pits. You know, we really didn't feel like we wanted to put ourselves in that situation again. We're good on the old tires, like I said. We had a little trouble when we got to the 00, and we didn't feel like, you know, without a little bit of help, we were going to get by him, so we just opted to stay out.
How much of that decision was Terry's?
Well, we kind of hashed it all out, and it's like I told him, only he knows how good his car is. And, you know, like I said, we struggled a little bit in the pits. We're not going to make that gamble again. He felt like his car was good enough, so, hey, we stayed out.
Mike?
Let's go back to green and settle this one. Terry Labonte is on the point. Phil Parsons, who started this race more times than anyone else in the field, is that blue car in second. Jason Jarrett is third. They did not make pit stops under this yellow.
And I was going to point out about Phil Parsons. You know, he won at Talladega, so he is good on this type of racetrack.
Buckshot Jones is fourth. Randy LaJoie fifth. Mike Dillon sixth. Nemechek, Sauter, Harvick, and Kenny Wallace, who had a lug nut problem on his pit stop back in 10th.
Labonte's been able to get himself a, what, about a 10-car length lead as those cars race side by side back there with the lap cars.
Ned, all those cars on the inside lane are one or more laps down. Mark Green is the first one of those, and they're looking for running room too.
And somebody that's really desperate right now is Kevin Harvick. He's hung on the bottom lane there and can't get to the outside to make a run.
It's okay. Let's go 3 wide down toward turn 1.
Just to get in there. Well, now the miracle and the straight driving guy in the center, there was nothing happening there.
They all got through it. Backing up there, Jason Leffler, who's off the lead lap by 1. And Terry Labonte will have 80 Daytona starts worth of experience to figure out how to keep these young guns behind him.
Well, I know one thing. The Attaboy Award goes to the 2-car of Kevin Harvick. He made a move to the outside, passed about 5 cars, and now he's moved himself back into contention again.
Harvick in only his 2nd Grand National start ever. As we watch from Joe Nemechek, now there's a lapped car right behind the leader. The contenders will have to get past that 1-car cushion to have a shot at Terry Labonte.
Jason Jarrett got shuffled back there. It's about 4 or 5 cars went by him going into turn 1.
Hey, and here comes Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace is up for 3rd. That lap car is Mark Green, 63. Harvick and Wallace trying to bear down.
Of course, Kenny's brother Mike Wallace won the truck race here at Daytona yesterday. He'd like to keep it in the Wallace family, knowing Rusty has a good chance in the Daytona 500 tomorrow.
You know, if I was racing again, I would want to be in that 2-car of Kevin Harvick. That thing is a rocket ship down the straightaway. But Kenny Wallace fights to the outside, trying to take that spot away on the outside, Mike.
Wallace in the orange car, and right behind him, the defending champion of this race, Randy LaJoie. Here they come on the high side.
Down on the inside. Well, look at this jostling around. Nemechek makes it work, getting around Jason Keller in the red and white number 57.
When you got a car as fast as Nemechek, you can go anywhere you want.
And Matt Kenseth in the 17 there has fought his way back into contention also. You know, when it gets close to showtime, you find out who has the muscle. These guys are going at it now. This isn't a dress rehearsal anymore.
Kenny Wallace has lost his partner. Number 1, LaJoie, goes to the inside lane behind that light blue car of Matt Kenseth.
Joe Nemechek in that silver car was down on the flat part of the racetrack as he entered turn 1.
17 cars on the lead lap.
Ken Labonte looking on as Terry tries to pick up a Daytona victory. Tomorrow, the great race, the Daytona 500. Terry Labonte will be one of those trying to win his first in some 20 years of trying.
Matt Kenseth got a run there and had to slow up just a little bit there for the 36 and 10 feet one. Now he makes a move to the inside, 3 wide down the front straightaway.
Now this will get interesting if somebody, well, the 36 car 10 feet gets out of the middle there.
And LaJoie pushes Harvick. Pushes him right through the trioval. Harvick crossed it up, hung on, and LaJoie pushed him into 2nd place.
That's a classic example. You don't know what you can't do, because when he crossed up, a lot of people have backed out and stacked up that whole group. He just stayed in the front and said, I'm going to have to do it.
You can't lift. You'll wreck with everybody behind you. Matt Kenseth to the inside, 17. Light blue car coming up for 3rd.
Jay Salter in the 43. How many times has he dropped back and made his way back up to the front?
LaJoie number 1, Wallace 25, and Buckshot Jones 00 still looking for that front spot. But out front, Labonte hangs on. 7 laps to go. If they had torqued this field together, buddy, it just couldn't get any tighter.
Yep. And I'll tell you, Randy LaJoie in the 1 car now making his presence known on the outside there as he closes in side by side with Matt Kenseth as they head down the back straightaway.
Defending champion of this race, 2-time winner and 2-time Busch champion LaJoie, a fellow who doesn't know how to lose at Daytona. He knows how to win.
I bet Terry Labonte saying, I hope I have a good mirror for this last lap, because he's going to have to use it.
Well, you said Harvick doesn't know what he can't do, so he goes with what he knows. He goes with Terry Labonte. Wherever Labonte moves, that number 2 of Harvick moves right with him.
That's a good, smart move, too. With his lack of experience, knowing Labonte has plenty of experience here. Hold it till the last lap or near the end of the race before you make that move. Let's go to the pits and Dick Berger.
In case Kevin Harvick needed a cheerleader, he just got one. His crew chief, Todd Berrier, just keyed the radio and said, "Get on up there. We need to lead this thing." And you bet he's trying, Mike Troy.
You bet. Now here comes Kenseth back on the inside. He's got a little drafting help from Jay Sauter down into turn 3. That's 3rd place. He's fighting with number 1, Randy LaJoie. Oh, so close out of turn 4.
Mike, you can almost feel the tension these guys are going through right now. I've been in this situation, and you're trying to put yourself in a position to win, but you don't want to do something, maybe go to the high side and get hung up behind the car. So you don't know whether to really take a run at the lead right now or just kind of wait. But here comes Randy LaJoie on the outside for 2nd place.
LaJoie trying to prove that Labonte is not the man in a position to win.
But look at Labonte pull right up in front of him to get help from that draft that he's creating there.
Now it's Harvick that leads the inside train, and now Labonte comes back down to the inside lane.
That's where his car works best.
Labonte going for his 12th career Busch Grand National Series win.
And he knows as long as he stays up there by himself and they're double wide behind him, there's no way they're going to make a move to take that number 1 spot away from him. Terry Labonte is now working out of the mirror.
They've got 4 laps to figure it out. Harvick back in line in 2nd, LaJoie 3rd. Behind him, Kenny Wallace, and on the inside, Matt Kenseth. You know, it looks like you'd want to be in the low groove because that's where Labonte is pulling them around the corners in the low groove.
Well, he's really doing it pretty smart. He goes to the outside down the straightaways, the inside, and then back out. He's keeping these guys from getting a good run on the draft there.
Harvick right in his tire tracks, Ned.
Pulled right down there that time. He did what you wondered why they were not doing that. Got right on the back bumper of Terry Labonte.
And now the fight is side by side for 3rd. LaJoie has to fend off Matt Kenseth at 3rd place. 3 laps to go.
Kevin Harvick trying to move up to take that line away from Randy LaJoie. He had to back off just a little bit there. He lost momentum.
Nemechek made it 3 wide going into turn 1, and that number 87, you're riding with him. He's up to 4th place suddenly. He wants to be a contender. He's got a shot at it.
The bad part is he's out there right by himself. Now, Terry will go in and go to the bottom of the racetrack here. He has the benefit of the draft, and you can see him pulling the 1 car there, Randy LaJoie, in the center part of the corner.
Looking behind Randy LaJoie. Nemechek on the inside, and LaJoie clears Matt Kenseth, who drops him behind him.
Now they're smart. They're nose to tail and in line right now, but here comes LaJoie again.
2 laps to go. Can you hold your breath for 90 seconds?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you're running that well, you can do anything you have to do. Terry Labonte saying, please race, boys, behind me. Double wide there.
He likes that double wide view that he sees in his rearview mirror. And as you said, he's driving with the rearview mirror. He's going to whichever car gets the run, which right now is the 2 car. He's going to try to pull right in front of him. 2 cars trying to go to the high side. Let's see if Labonte, he moves right up there in front of him.
But here comes Kenseth, 17 on the bottom. He's going to draw even with Harvick. He's going to edge Harvick. He's going to have a chance for the lead. Here comes Kenseth.
Kenseth got sideways off the corner, but they're side by side back to the start-finish line. White flag.
Who wants it most? Nemechek on the bottom with Matt Kenseth. We know he can go 3 wide.
Terry Labonte now has no choice but to be on the outside this time. He needs for the 2 car to get up there very close behind him as Nemechek is moving up.
Nemechek is in the tire tracks there, and he's actually pushing the air there. It looks to me like we're drawing away. Matt Kenseth is moving out front.
This is it. From here out, nobody has any friend. Cambridge, Wisconsin's Matt Kenseth has the lead. Nemechek side by side with Labonte. Can he get there?
I think right now Matt Kenseth has the edge right now as they come off side by side. That gives him all the room in the world to work towards the flag.
Matt Kenseth wins the NAPA 300. Joe Nemechek holds off Terry Labonte for 2nd. Jay Sauter edges Kevin Harvick for 3rd. And from there on back, we're going to have to look at a lot of place. What a race. 8th career victory for Matt Kenseth. He drives for Robbie Reiser in this Busch Series. Jack Roush and Mark Martin adopted Kenseth, brought him to Winston Cup in a car that Roush and Mark Martin own, and that's where he'll race all this season, is in Winston Cup.
Mike, can you imagine they're calling him a rookie tomorrow in the Daytona 500?
He'll have to carry that yellow stripe on his Winston Cup bumper all year. But he is a champion of the NAPA 300. Kenseth led laps 10 to 21, and then the final 2 laps. And we'll meet him in victory lane when we come back. Your plate melted. It really did.
Yeah, it did. Boy, that's good race.
Sports presentation of the NAPA Auto Parts 300 is sponsored by NAPA.
Yeah, I'm here.
Matt, hold up for just a second. Just stay for a second.
Jennifer, glasses, Maddie.
CBS Sports presentation of the NAPA Auto Parts 300 is sponsored by NAPA. Why do you need genuine NAPA replacement parts? Because some things can't be replaced. Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's improving home improvement. And by Pennzoil with Pure Base, made for the way you drive. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
Take that Star of Tomorrow tag off Matt Kenseth. He's in victory lane at Daytona with Ken Squire.
1998, he finished 6th. In 99, he finished 4th, and he is the champion of the 300 miles here today, the NAPA Auto Parts event. Matt Kenseth of Cambridge, Wisconsin, with one of the most brilliant performances over those final 10 laps. Tell us about those final laps.
It was pretty scary. I had to make some moves out there I wasn't real proud of, but mainly I'm glad it was a safe race. Nobody got injured, but the Visine Chevrolet ran pretty good all day. It was just, it only run fast for 30 laps, and then I'd start pushing the front end real bad, and we came in and got a set of tires there at the end, and that's what we needed, and Joe Nemechek pulled behind me and pushed me to the win. I was pushing him to try to help him win at Talladega last year, and he ran second, and he pushed me this year, so I'm glad it was the last lap.
You shadowed the Winston Cup giant, Labonte, those last laps. You stayed right in his tracks.
Yeah, I tried to, you know, I didn't think we were going to get it done on the bottom. I got to thank Jay Sauter. He stayed with me all day, even a couple times I had to hang him out. He stayed with me and pushed me up in there, and we were side by side for so long, and my car was starting to push that I didn't think it was going to make it, but we did it.
It certainly did it. Congratulations to you for a beautiful ride.
Thanks a lot.
Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Joe Nemechek won this race in 1998. You needed a couple more laps today, though, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Matt Kenseth, heck of a driver. He is up there.
Well, you can finish second and still get a big kiss from Andrew.
Oh, yes. I tell you what, after everything we've been through this weekend, you know, I think we had the fastest car here, but fastest car doesn't always win. But the whole Cellular One, Nortel Networks, and the Kia Chevy, everything was great. Brian Patty made some good calls. We got right side tires there at the end, and probably the wildest race ever been in. The last 5 laps were just unbelievable. I needed a couple more.
Nice job. Terrell.
Terry Labonte did a great job of fighting off the draft there for quite a while, but they got you at the end. What happened?
Well, I went a little high down there in 3 and 4 trying to block them on the outside, and I picked up a little push. And I guess I should have put on some new tires, and I stayed out there on the old ones thinking I could hold them off, and I couldn't. But it was a good run for us. I'm happy for all the guys in Slim Jim Chevy. Did a good job. Car ran good all week, and we'll go on from here.
He'll be back for the Daytona 500 tomorrow, Mike.
What a fine run for Terry Labonte, but they jumped all over him in those last 2 laps. Matt Kenseth makes the whole state of Wisconsin proud as he wins here in Daytona. Nemechek, Terry Labonte, Winston Cuppers. Great run for the 2 rookies, Jay Sauter and Kevin Harvick, as we have a look back through the field in this NAPA 300 today. The Gatorade 125s coming up shortly, and tomorrow the Daytona 500 for the 22nd consecutive year. You'll see it on CBS Sports, and we'll be proud to bring it to you. And if it's anything like today's race, wow.
You're right about that.
Kenseth takes the point lead to Rockingham next week. Jay Sauter and Kevin Harvick will run the complete Busch season. And let's show you the pass that put Matt Kenseth in victory lane.
He's in the light blue car down on the inside, and he gets the run. Labonte said he got a little bit high, and he did, and that gave the opening that Matt Kenseth needed, and Nemechek helped push him through.
That silver car got directly behind him there, actually pushed him down the front straightaway, and he was able to make the move in turns 1 down here to take the lead, thanks to Joe Nemechek, his drafting buddy.
Well, coming up, the Gatorade 125s run here Thursday at Daytona. You'll see that on CBS Sport after these messages and a word from your local CBS station.